Michael Crosby here, Potus candidate. I'm addressing Democrats right now, basically. I'm addressing candidates. We still have a crisis. We have a situation that has to be resolved. It's basically not resolved. We still have a serious problem that has to be resolved. And it's not just a series of problems, it's a lot of serious problems. You know, we have to consider the importance of the frustration that many people are feeling. There are many people who are feeling that they're being left out, that they're being ignored, that their categories are not being addressed. And before in the past, I tried to address this on many occasions and say, hey, permanent archiving is the way to go to be able to have a permanent archive situation. And I've offered twice to build archives for the Democratic Party. Once, many years ago, I offered once to build it for the Republican Party. Now, I've been a Democrat for more than 20 years. And yes, in my early life, I was a Republican for 20 years. So basically, I decided that it was incompatible, the Republican Party. There were just too many people that did not have a high enough education status, that were not capable of dealing intensely with the vast array of issues that needed to be dealt with. Okay, so much I brought you up to date on that. So I came to the Democrats. I decided, okay, I'm going to work as a Democrat. I'm going to work with these categories and these various ideas, and I moved my independent archive, the nonprofit archive, the MG archive, and work it forward. And there's a lot to it. There's other aspects that are in private holding from other companies. I won't get into the complexities of the stuff that goes, but it runs the gambit all the way into national security, basically. So if we start to list out the items, there's a lot of items to list out. Again, the concept of building permanent archive, I proposed before, if everybody could say they were willing to commit $1 and sign up, and we somehow agree on a location, we could construct a remote permanent archive or several archives where we would know that we would have a permanent way of keeping our personal candidates' material and any material that we wanted to share publicly. And we could do this basically and have a lot more capabilities. We could end up having a growing software concern with extra facets and whatnot. Things could really get impressive. So, that's always on the table. I'm always interested in hearing people's ideas there. Now, as to my archive with damage, some of you may have caught some of my material. You might understand that 18 broadcast vehicles, mobile RVs, archives, basically have been lost at this point. And you probably also notice all this violence, these photographs of this incredible violence. There's a lot of other video material pertaining to that. There's way more material that I haven't even published yet on that. Continuing here, there's a lot of people that are in denial about certain things. The percentages, the real percentages of how many people are frustrated and who are voters is not being reflected in the media. When the media shows that 98, 99% accounted for, we know that's a lie. That's a big lie. And the numbers are higher than ever before. They're beyond the Perot period. In some areas, we're talking about 31% of voters are saying, no, we don't want any of the big two. So, putting this on the table honestly deals with a lot of various issues. Obviously, we have to deal with the reality that we have an insurrection. Someone said, we had an insurrection? No. we still have an insurrection. We have problems, and there are people that know we have problems. Lots of other candidates have mentioned some of these problems. We definitely have groups of people that are aligned in certain ways, that think that the only way to get things done is to stay together, or their idea of staying together, which is not necessarily sound logical tactics. So we have to realize that we have an ongoing insurrection. It has not stopped. It is unpredictable. It has lots of people that are still at large. Violent people that are still at large that haven't been apprehended and punished yet. This is very important to understand, because currently at the moment, I've displayed for more than a year and a half a lot of evidence. A lot of evidence. You know, I have more than 40 vehicles, and the instances of the evolution of the violence in these various people that have participated, I have slowly unfolded. I was upfront about things being under shield, and that I'd have to take time to reveal some of these items. You know, some of you may have noticed I displayed a multi-Rico document. 29 different identified participants as I see it. I did not show the declarations of all of these factors of people. I add to them when I have what I believe is solid evidence to deal with those various parties. I want you to understand, of course, it is more dangerous for me. Every time I reveal more parties, it becomes more dangerous for me. Because when you have actual hard evidence, this means you have the ability, theoretically, if you can find an honest court. It's very important. If you can find an honest court that will help you take care of problems, which, by the way, I think we understand at this moment there's a very big problem with the courts. And there's a very big problem with judges having various party loyalties. I think that's blatantly clear at this point in time to many people. There's a lot of material out there on this. So, frankly, I've been having problems with judges, yes. With courts, yes. These people don't want to cooperate. And if we go into the timeline, I've been revealing information that goes back further. It goes all the way to Harris. Major problems with Harris. So if I say that, frankly, there's enough evidence that says that Harris has participated in dereliction of duty at a level that's considered treason, and that she is an active participant for a number of years in forms of dereliction of duty and other items that specifically mean that we have not one candidate that apparently has committed treason, but at the moment we have two. So as far as the Democratic Party situation goes, Camille Harris is completely unacceptable. Under no circumstances can we allow Camille Harris to move forward. It has nothing to do with nationality. It's about evidence. It's about loyalty to the Constitution of the United States. It's about parties who participate in active destruction of archives, artifacts, processes of elections, attacks on candidates, acts of war. Now, as I have been putting out lots and lots of evidence here, basically, it's important that there are options for people to join together and work forward. By the way, I'm always interested in more evidence. Did I have other items involving other people's cases and evidence in the archive over the course of the years? Yes. Let's not go into that right now as to where that goes, the problems with that, and other people having their cases attacked by this dereliction of duty, by these treasonous activities of these various parties. So there are legal options on the board of a completely different type. There's a constitutional power during insurrection that gives presidential candidates, not the president, presidential candidates the power to declare the right of panel and full trial situation. I have done this. I have given notices of operation. There are people deeply concerned over what I have done. I'm still recording stuff. I'm still putting stuff out on the web. And there is not a problem with people in government denying whether or not I have certain authority to do this stuff because they know it's the Constitution. They know it's the Articles. They know that I have the right and the power to do this. This is actually the creation of a court. Do we need to create more courts? I believe many people would basically agree that yes, we do. Now, this is a bit more of a process. It's not like starting private courts that do civil cases, which kind of sort of happen for years all over the country. You can make private courts. Okay, I'm back. Quick apology. Sometimes my stuff jumps around. That has to do with I have a lot of interruptions, phone calls, stuff that I have to field. Other items too, I'm jumping between different units. The air conditioning either doesn't work or the air conditioners are too loud, so I have to roll the windows down, which means we're in different locations and there's going to be background noise. And this is done because it's a Rico situation. I've had 2 active attempted assassinations on my life by gunfire in basically the last 2 years. Now, this is a Rico situation. That means that there are parties who do things that are unbelievable. You cannot trust the court system because all the computers are breached. There's cross-control between Republicans and Democrats that have access. So those of you who are intelligent and understand how a lot of this stuff works would understand that when I try to set up permanent locations, that people will show up and try to assassinate me. This is not a game. This is real life. This is because I'm one of those people that has enough evidence to put people in prison for their entire life. This is not a game. This is real politics. So, in case you haven't thought that politics has dangerous points to it, you need to understand. Now, granted, I've talked about a lot of this SAR stuff. That's accurate too. But see, the interesting thing is we have parties, they just don't want to cooperate. When you hear and see these various items where people go, I don't understand, how did that information just appear, yet it was investigated in the past, but then somebody blocked it, made it go away, whatever. Welcome to reality. Welcome to reality on some of this. But when it comes to certain stuff, the SAR data confirms my situation. It confirms the whereabouts of all these people from all of these violent attacks. And this is part of the reason is that the government does not want to cooperate. That's not a civil matter. Tracing people committing espionage, attacking archives, stealing materials from archives, violating national security. Those are serious criminal matters. Those are not civil matters. Yet one of the biggest tricks from a bunch of people is, and I'll just tell you, you have people in both political parties that are cowards. They're cowards. They're connected to the justice system. They're connected to the courts. And when they take one look at a file package coming in from me. Oh, no, I can't file this. Oh, no, 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 no. So, and then you get judges that do screwed up things. Now, I will tell you, I've already posted some documents before. They're already bad judges. There's more paperwork. There's a total of 14 judges. Now, I haven't processed all the paperwork up yet on them. But a lot of this paperwork, it's located in Washington, D.C. It's waiting for the next stages and phases of the panel to activate to the next levels, because that's the way I've designed it to work. Unfortunately, there's not many people who are brave and want to get on board. I have a lot of people. Let me tell you, I've had a lot of people over the years. I've had a lot of people fairly recently say, yeah, look, I believe in what you're doing. I really like it. But the problem is I can't put my name to it because I'm afraid these people will kill my family, or they will do something horrible that ruins our financial life or something. So this is a reality that has to be dealt with. But, the good news, there's a good news point. The good news point is that the insurrection, the violent insurrection portion, many areas of it are winding to a different point. This means that the, tens of thousands of justice personnel that have been bogged down, literally bogged down, just dealing with the J6 situation, are beginning to free up. And this takes into account that a lot of people turned down and said no, they would not participate. There is a serious political problem with political alignment in the judicial systems. It's a very serious problem. Now, there are things to keep in mind. When it comes to things like SAR, there's only more and more satellites that keep going up each and every year. The technology only gets better and better and better. And the archives that have the raw SAR data, they just keep expanding. There's more and there's more of them. This means that you can use independent computers. It's expensive, it's time consuming to sort this data out. That means there's no escape. There's no escape for these people. I want you to understand this. There's no escape for these people, and there's no statute of limitations on what these people have done. So this is important to know. So at this point, we're getting ready to pivot again into a different occurrence levels. How this is exactly going to manifest depends a lot on voters' participation, on party members' participation. There's a lot of people that want to have different issues that they want to participate on, and we're going to be perfectly honest with a lot of people right now. For the most part, many people are very specialized with the issues that they have. And the reality is that most of those issues do not make you a basic threat to certain other people. You don't have evidence that's going to be able to put them in prison. It's very important to understand that. So there's a lot of categories of people that are much safer. You're safer. You can do a lot of protesting. You can do a lot of stuff, because the worst case scenario for you is they arrest you and you're in a catch and release situation because of something. This is not to say that it can't get worse, that they might not illegally impound your vehicle. They could come over to your house. Something bad could happen. I don't see why, though. It's a generic thing. There's, as the dice roll, yeah, we have people that basically blow people away in their own homes after they get call for assistance. But statistically, the odds that you general people at large that have lots of special issues, that you are not a direct threat to certain people. Therefore, they are not necessarily going to come after you the same way. See, with me, I've had bullets coming at me. Not fun. With you, you might run into some people that got the wrong attitude, that have a badge and a gun, that might screw up your day, that might give you a bogus ticket that you have to go to court and deal with. They might steal your car from you. That's a big one, actually. But essentially, this means that there's a chance to keep working with these specialized issues, yet something else. There's a chance for people to keep connecting together. But it's hard to keep moving things forward when you don't have permanent archive situations. That's one of the reasons for many decades I kept emphasizing with people, permanent archive, permanent archive, permanent archive. Because what happens is people keep getting scattered, and people that have the better end of certain key evidence come under attack, and it can happen by anybody. I mean, decentralized violence can hit you. So being an important person in a suburb and not being on the special list of getting special security considerations means that at any given time, some nutcase with a hammer or an axe or a gun could show up and give you a hard time, whatever. Yes, that's reality. We know this. Okay, sorry I had some more interruptions. Basically, there's a lot to understand about people's individual situations. If you have evidence, please, I'll mention again, yes, we're going to want it. At this point in time, I have placed evidence in places all over the country. I've placed certain pieces of evidence that should be intact in Washington. They should not be able to destroy that evidence. There's different ways where these things can go. Setting up proper locations for those of us who need protection. I think that some of you do understand that some of us are players at a different level and people shoot at us. This means more protection. Now, normally the way this would have been done for me is that the RB units basically would have been utilized for making outer perimeters, and drones would have been utilized. And, of course, people. So, unfortunately, because of the loss of 18 mobile units at this point, that would also double up as archives, as Wi-Fi. These things are wonderful. Go to a rock concert, and we can light up internet anywhere across the concert area. It was wonderful. That was the design, so to speak. But they're at a loss right now, and understanding that there's also classified information that was in some of these units. This means that every minute of every day that goes by, that this material just keeps moving, but we don't have the justice system backing us. We don't have Harris backing us. Harris is lying when she says that she's prosecuting Trump. She's lying. Where's the list of the people that have evidence that she's protecting? Where's the list of people they're prosecuting for attacking archivers? Yeah, she doesn't have any of this because it's all BS. She has lied to organizations. She has lied to many organizations. She has withheld key information. I've laid out some of this information. It's an act of war to aid and abet anybody who is attacking a candidate. To attack a candidate is an act of war. Read the articles. Now, the ability for us at this point, because we're larger than ever, don't let anybody tell you that we're not larger than ever. We are larger than we've ever been. 31%. 31%. And there's still more voters who are disgusted that we can get We can get another 10 points on that. We can get it up to 41%. This is possible. This is doable. Now, where this goes is this puts everything basically into the House of Representatives, unless, of course, we can get some actual cooperation. Because some of us would have the ability of getting more votes nationwide than others. But because I was such a serious candidate coming up, I repeatedly had to deal with violence. And this is something that's undeniable. Again, there's no statute of limitations. It's undeniable. SAR lie detectors, I would cruise through that as a willing witness, and a lot of these people would be faced immediately with the situation. Well, what's your side of it? And they'd be in shock, and they'd start lying. It's okay, well, we want to put you in an FMRI lie detector. How's this going to work? They're going to refuse. They're not going to want to play. They're going to refuse. Because these people aren't going to want to get backed into a corner. So it's important for us to consider what are the other options we haven't considered. What are the other things that we can do? And at this point, a lot of people have actually done lots and lots of organizing. I mean, you've got a lot of little mini archives all over the country, speciality in different types of causes, extra information of various types located in all these different archives. Again, I'll mention the concept about the permanent archiving thing, and a lot of people, it's been decades and decades. Maybe you could re-review the understanding of how valuable being a participant in permanent archiving, especially if you're somebody like, look, I own a piece of it. I got a piece of stock. You can't lock me out, A lot of mini sites, campgrounds, whatever. It's a good thing, So I've tried that before. It's hard to get people on board. So let's make some camping areas, turn them into permanent archives. Let's get this going, And again, these mini sites, they can be about anything, and we can set up cameras and security and all this other stuff. So it's a nice place to have fun. It's a good place to take families. But again, now if we're going to go over a list, what did I do with that? If we're going to go over a list of of some of the things that are highly important on evidence, this is one of the things I wanted to talk about, because there's these items on evidence that just won't quit. And that's when we're dealing with these other various people who are pretenders, who are not who they say they are, who are playing the memeiest game, the popularity test, the beauty contest, but does that actually have anything to do with the necessary skill sets to repair our nation? Now, according to AI computers, I'm the best candidate there is. I'm the guy that's been playing around with AI for more than 20 years. So I'm the guy that has all of these outside of the box things tweaked into a really unique set of AI challenges. I'm the guy that can change everything in banking. I've talked about a lot of stuff. It's in my stuff. I've talked about it. People going through, look at the transcripts, copy and paste, go to OpenAI. You can evaluate this stuff. Please, you have to ask the right questions, because AI is not AGI yet. Of course, there's people who might have a different opinion as to what I had in the total archive if I got my final assembly done, whether I actually achieved AGI, whether the mathematics and all the cog sets would have added up and gave me AGI. Into this. But so remember that these they're very smart. They can help you with a lot of things. Again, I've got stuff out there. I'm trying to get the 24/7 services going. That's a real White House. That's a real deal. And I was going to do it with the campaign, with all of the 18, keep in mind, 18 RBs, mobile broadcast units starting out, plus they hook you into Wi-Fi wherever you're at. And the industrial units we're testing one 5,000 feet and one 10,000 feet. 10,000 feet is about 2 miles. We were working with some Pringle can designs to add those to the drones. That's a little hollow tube, for those of you that don't know, and a little couple set of rings we put in it to get it unidirectional so it can point. That means 7 to 14 miles. So these drones would be able to extend and relay and retransmit. And we could have got Wi-Fi going over hundreds of miles with these setups. Basically, I had advanced designs for projectors and used these little tiny projectors like they have. You may have seen them with the cell phones, so they could go anywhere and set up projections on walls. There's a wall, you got a projector. If you're protesting in a city, the drones could come in. They communicate via Wi-Fi, and they can be remotely operated from miles away. But they could also project numerous screens. So you could have like 40 different screens all over large buildings. It was kind of interesting. It's impressive. Didn't get to that point. But please keep in mind, day routes, 18 RVs in Los Angeles, that gets you visibility of, 1 million people a day. To give you an idea how viable my campaign was going to be starting out this season, even the previous seasons, if it wasn't coming under mysterious false criminal charge attack. And again, there's no escape for these people for what they've done. There's no escape for Harris. There's no escape for Julie Sue. There's no escape for the California Secretary of State or the current AG. There's no escape for these people. They've done what they've done, and for all time in history, it is recorded into history. As now people are using this data as anything that goes on X or any type of social media becomes part of a large language model. People are training. Every hour there's another major model that samples, and that goes into processing and becomes another model. There's a lot of way people make these models. You also have AI is, OpenAI is just a super large company. They have ways of working with data, ways of picking up data. They're getting better and better with it. You're getting a lot of exact website access now coming up, and it's starting to change things. And pretty soon they're going to be able to grab everything off of X. And you also have the new supercomputers that Elon Musk is doing. Now, I don't want to talk about some people that say they don't like Elon Musk or this or that. He's always kind of strange. He says all these different things. He's back and forth. He was originally a dreamer, and now he has a big business, and it's probably like he's, tied to all this stuff like he's in a form of hell. But in reality, you hire people that say, if you say this, it can make your stock maybe go up a point or make X number of car sales. So, honestly, he's going to say things when marketing people come up to him and say, hey, we're falling, you need to address this, or it'll piss off the stockholders. He is a character himself. He does look at things. He'll look at a lot of things, oh, that's interesting, or that's different, or, who knows? So, I want to focus on he's building and growing. He's a growing person. He strikes me, he's always somebody growing with new information. He has a completely different vision. He wants to go to Mars all over the place. I've worked on FTL technology. It's my baby, my invention. It works. That's 6 seconds from Earth to any place in the galaxy, the furthest mining belt. That means we can mine gold robotically. Hello. Rocks the size of Texas that are 70% gold. Yes, we have a future, and it's not that far away. If you're young today, you'll see it. You'll feel it. You'll end up with space gold around your neck. This is no joke. So, there's a massive system being built now by Musk. And he is one of 5 major people that are building super units. And I've disclosed certain information over the years to the government, certain people in government. I'm kind of not necessarily the most listed person, but I'm somebody who's considered an asset. There are people who would keep track of me. I'm in the automatic tracking system. I put a lot of documents around. The White House has got thousands of documents. Early on, I put a lot of documents in. Again, we have all these problems. We have a transitional period where finally, the violent insurrection situation is toning down. We've got a lot more people in custody. There's a lot more intelligence on certain people. Let's just say that it's possible for people to roll on these violent players if they start up again, except there's a whole list of people that need to be prosecuted that haven't been prosecuted yet. Again, it goes back to Harris, the California AG. California hasn't been prosecuting people. They haven't been investigating people. This is a horrible problem. There's a huge subordinate problem, a multi-problem in California with multiple parties. There's a bunch of sabotage going on between different people's viewpoints of partyism. It's distasteful. There's a lot of people who are victims, and there's a lot of chicken stuff that's been occurring. Yeah, unfortunately, I wanted to do a 12-minute item here. It didn't work out that way. I've had a lot of phone calls, a lot of interruptions. Okay, that was a lot of calls. Okay, unfortunately, I'm going to have to compress this out and run it, and there should be another show, but it will be late night. Well, another pod speech. And I have to find my list. It walked away.